Well, hello, friends. Welcome to episode 32. I think this is maybe helping, maybe not. It still doesn't feel like a chore to me. I still try to think about what to say, but mainly I think about it a few minutes before I jump on here. But I wanted to just keep sharing some of the ideas that I've been processing, or at least um, going through this mindset of letting the old self go. And I started thinking about this question of what would you do, or what do you do when it's not working? Uh, we all do this, or we run into this all the time. I know that we usually need evidence because that's what we get told we need in order to make proper decisions, in order to make sure that something is actually being successful. And I'm not sure that's true. At the same time, I'm not emotionally uh, bought into the idea of not needing evidence. It's what my mentors have been telling me. It's what, by universal law, is not necessary. I think there's this concept that if we believe in it and we take intentional action towards it, it's by law, the universe will start working in your benefit and start making things happen, even if you cannot see that. My mind and my ego wants to see things, and this is probably why I've been going in circles. So I made this list of things that I have tried, and I don't know if they're working. I say they're probably not working, mainly because I'm doing them without proper energy or frequency into it. I'm doing them in a very logical manner as opposed to something in full alignment with me and who I am and what's fun and entertaining and what I truly believe in. Sorry. um, it's not to say that I haven't been doing some of these items that I'm going to share with you purposefully. It's just that I think I've been doing the right things, just not in the from the right energy. It's the only way, the best way I can say it. So without waiting anymore, here's some of the things I've done and I've tried, and I don't think they're working, but maybe they are. Who the hell knows? You decide, and maybe you've done some of these too. Number one, work harder. This is what everybody does. Some people say that it's very easy for us to just try harder, put in more hours, put in more repetitions of the same thing, hoping for a different result. You've heard the quote. It's probably erroneously attributed to Einstein, which goes something like if you insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. That's essentially the same thing as working harder. Sometimes we want to work harder at something and hoping that something happens. It's almost like if we think that we're going to push harder into something and it's going to move. It usually doesn't. It's probably more about persistence and keep pushing rather than actually pushing more and harder. Um, but that's one thing. So I've tried working harder. I've tried working long hours. I've gone overnight. I've gone to bed at 3 o'clock every morning because that's usually when I felt the need to be able to work. Because I was trying to help my wife and the baby in the mornings, and then in the afternoons I was trying to do a few connections here and there. So I generally ended up working for myself during the night, and that's actually not working because I'm waking up groggy and my mind's not at the right place. That's just hasn't been working. So that is one. Number two is analysis paralysis. I'm a very thoughtful person, and I like to analyze things and like to run numbers, if you can say. And I spent a lot of time thinking and analyzing all the methods and all the possible ways that it could go right or wrong. I pick an idea and I start taking steps forward in my head, not really taking action, but just picking the idea and then imagining the different scenarios and thinking about all the ways that it cannot work and all the ways that I would have to act and create things in order to make it work. And in the end, I just don't do much, or I do something and then I give up very quickly once the first step doesn't work. So doing nothing in this situation, or nothing because you're analyzing the situation, is probably not going to help you either, but maybe it worked for you. You let me know. Next one was I started listening to everybody, and this is probably related to this other one where I was hiding behind studying. Um, Listening to everybody or hiding behind studying, or like the need that I need to learn more. And this is me because I'm a learner by strength. Therefore, I have a bias to keep learning things. And I've been learning marketing from 2 or 3 different people. I've been learning copywriting from others. I've gotten into sales. I've gotten into different coaching techniques. I've gotten into productivity, mindset, and tasks, and all these other things. And I've gone through many different voices. They're all good. They all know what you're talking about. They all seem very respectful, or respectful of their time and their clients. They are resourceful in what they do, and they're making hundreds and thousands of dollars a month. And they're probably worth following. But what I have done wrongly is that I've pretty much listened to everything they have to say and forgotten about what feels in alignment with me. This is not about motivation. This is about an inner voice that you know that this method really truly aligns with who you are and where you're headed. I know there are many ways that can be a double-edged sword, because that feeling that I'm talking about could be my subconscious mind sabotaging me. I don't know how to explain it. I just know what it feels like, mainly because I'm a feeler. And I think I've been doing a lot of good techniques and probably not really reflecting as to which one feels really, really good and in harmony with what I'm trying to accomplish. If that is you, then start reflecting, taking some time to identify which one actually feels in alignment, and then just stick with that one for a longer period of time than I've been doing, because that's the next one I wrote down. Out of all these ideas, I've been jumping from one to the other and not really focusing on one, two, or let's just say 3. I have a hard time focusing on one thing just because I feel I'm wasting time. Not wasting time, but I could be doing more. So I keep pushing for doing more than one. But what I've been doing is definitely scattering my focus and my energy by trying to do, say, 5 things at once, and then trying to keep every single plate spinning all at once. And it's definitely not working either. The jumping from one thing to another doesn't really allow you, and it hasn't really allowed me to define and determine what is working and what's not. The fact is, like, I think I'm learning and I'm internalizing that it does take time for things to build momentum. And if I keep jumping and like start one thing, stop, and start another one, and stop that, and being too quick to kill ideas or processes, I'm not allowing enough momentum to build in order for me to make a conscious decision as to whether it is working for me or not. So big mistake. Maybe you're not doing it. So good for you. Which one's left? 2 more. I go with this one. Do nothing and listen to yourself. That's something that has worked. Is not working consistently, mainly because I'm not sitting down to do it. But do nothing and listen to yourself. Do nothing and listen to yourself means to find a space to disconnect from everything and allow the inner voice to speak. The first time you try to do this, your mind's gonna go wild and it's gonna tell you you should be doing something, that you don't have time to be sitting down, that what are you expecting? It's gonna throw a million ideas at you about taking action, about not working, about many other things. But the fact is that if you wait long enough and you calm yourself down enough, you will start listening to the things that truly mean something, and then you'll start getting some version of an answer, maybe an idea that truly resonates and excites you and almost wants you to take action. That I have done, and it has worked, but then I would second guess myself and not do it, don't do something or not do it fully. So I still working through that, but that's technically worked. So maybe you can try that. Just sitting down, just sit and allow the thoughts and just watch the thoughts go by. And then at some point, you might just hear one or see one or feel one that's just gonna almost push you to action. That's the one you'll focus on and do that one. And the last one, which is one I'm still learning, is be willing to fail, be willing to commit to something for a decent amount of time and this amount of number of ways, not ways, number of times to try it, so that you can make a decision objectively, not just by feeling that it's not working just because you're not seeing anything. It's just by objectively seeing the evidence that, hey, you're not connecting with an audience, you're not finding the right person, people are not really listening to what you're saying, or it just doesn't feel quite in alignment with what you want to do. So maybe you'll try something else. But so those are my ways. It's gone longer than I thought. Maybe this gives you ideas. Feel free to share the ones that you've tried. Feel free to share the ones that haven't worked for you. Feel free to share this with other people if it's helping you think differently. I just want to sit down and share some of these ideas that I've been trying for the last 2 months, not 2 months, but 15 months or more, 2 years, 3 years, and hasn't necessarily worked. And I'm just now trying to empty myself and allow the true answers to come in and see where this takes me and you. Hopefully you're learning to avoid some of these mishaps, or at least getting more ideas to try out. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye.